Hey everybody, Marshall. Sorry running a little bit late tonight. Me and my girlfriend, we had home cooked cheeseburgers for supper and prepping them and everything. Ran a little bit late. So just got through eating supper and everything. Thought I'd come on here even though it was late. I normally start about 8 or 8:30 when I do these hobby chats, but tonight just a few minutes late getting on here. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hope everybody's staying safe out there. Been raining here a good bit the last couple of days. I'm waiting on some of that to clear out so I can get out in my kayak again. I want to call around to a couple of state parks in the next couple of weeks and see how long it's going to be before some of them open back up. Because right now I'm just limited to fishing this lake right here near where I live. That's the only place I can really go. But I want to see when the state parks open again. Because there's a couple of spots I want to try. One state park, all they allow is kayaks, canoes, pedal boats, whatever. You can have a john boat, but you got to have paddles with it. They don't allow any kind of motors out there. I'd really like to check that lake out because that'd be cool. I mean, you ain't got to worry about getting run over by nobody while you're out there, really. Plus, it looked like a pretty good spot. I saw some views of the lake on their website. So, a couple state parks I want to check out down the road. But right now, all the state parks are still closed because of COVID-19, the virus thing. So, can't go where you can't go. I'm just lucky that I can walk down to the lake in less than 10 minutes, so I can at least still fish. Or I can drive down the road. I think it's in between 2 to 4 miles and hit 2 other fishing spots. But they're still parts of the same lake. It's just 2 other fishing spots I can go hit. So that's about all I can do right now is about 3 different spots I can go fish at, all on the same lake, but about 3 spots that I can go hit. And I really want to try a different lake, because you don't always want to fish the same places. Unless you're one of those people that find a spot and it's really producing every time you go there. Then it's pretty cool to stay there and see what you can catch each time you go. But when you got a lake that it's sometimes it produces, sometimes it doesn't, makes you want to try other lakes. But I know last time I checked, all the state parks in South Carolina were still closed. So that means, I'm stuck with the lake I go to right now, for now. And I found this one spot. Looks like a creek or a little river coming under a bridge. Probably about, I'd say 10, 12 miles from here. But I've seen a lot of people standing beside the bridge and down on the bank near the bridge fishing that area. I just don't know. That was back before COVID-19, right before that started. And I'm just not sure now that started if the cops will let you gather there, because think about it, if you're trying to stay 6 feet away, you don't need to have 6 or 7 people standing on a bridge beside each other fishing. Me out on my yak, when I'm out on the kayak, I'm not near anybody, it's just me and the lake. But that's what I'm waiting on right now. But yeah, girlfriend hooked us up nice tonight. She did homemade cheeseburgers, sharp cheddar cheese, and then we had tomatoes. She sliced, freshly sliced tomatoes. Had that on the burger. Mine had Cajun seasoning cooked into the burger. Oh, man, it was good. So it wasn't like I was just going to let that sit there and start the video and just have my food sitting there getting cold. So I was like, I'll go ahead and eat first, and then I'll start the video. And if any of my buddies come on or are still up or whatever, we'll chat. If anybody else pops in and wants to chat about something, that's cool too. If not, I'll stay on a little while, and then I'll get off and I'll go play some video games or watch some movies. I got 2 video games I gotta go do some stuff on in a little bit. It's video games that I play every day. One of them's Game of Thrones. I play a little bit on that every day of the week. And then I got this TV show I watched way back. I may check some of it out. What's up, brother? Hope you're doing well. I got something really interesting. You might be interested in it as well. I'm going to be putting up a video in a couple days. Maybe tomorrow or the next day. There's going to be a video up, me unboxing something that goes to the GoPro Hero 5 Black. Good price on it. You might be interested in that video when it goes up and everything. But I don't want to say what it is yet, because like I said, the video is going up tomorrow or the next day. I just hadn't got around to the last little bit of editing of it and putting it up. That's all I got to do. I've already shot the video for what it is, but it's for the GoPro Hero 5 Black. Well, from what I've been told, it can work with the GoPro Hero 5 Black, GoPro Hero 6 Black, and it may work with the Hero 7 Black. But anyway, that's that. I had to get me a container. I got tired of everything being crammed in the slots they were in. I've got rubber worms that have to that are in slots, and have to go in there and go. I have to sit there and circle them around like that to fit them in a little bitty small slot. And I want to at least be able to put them in a little bit bigger, at least spread them out about like that. But I got this one from my tackle box to go in there. This will be the last tray that can go in there. This will fill the tackle box up. But I got this at Walmart. And I went fishing down there last week. Didn't catch anything, so I didn't put the video up. This was last Monday. Didn't put the video up because I didn't catch anything but one fish. I caught like one brim. And probably 2.5 hours. So I didn't even bother putting the video up. It just wasn't a great day. The pollen was bad. My sinuses, allergies were bothering me real bad. So I probably got 15 of those full of tackle. Wow. This is the tackle box that goes in. It's going to go in. This is the one I normally carry with me. Got my pliers right there on the side. And it sits in there just right. See? But that fills that one up. And I can close the lid. Got plenty of room to do that. So that one's going to go in there. It's probably going to have mainly like rubber worms, jigs with the rubber bodies on the back of them. Kind of like soft plastic tray. That's what I may make it. I haven't decided yet. But what I was telling you about, I caught that one fish, 2.5 hours, had my depth finder with me, and I checked out the depth of the whole cove, all the way from where I put out, all the way to the very pretty much back of it. The majority of that cove ranges from 1.9 feet deep, then up to about 2.9. Then you got about 3.4. Then you got 4.3, and then it jumps up to like 4.9, 4.11, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. I think 5.5. That was the majority of what I saw through that whole cove. I did paddle up into one section, look down at my depth finder, and it said 6.2 feet deep. That was the deepest spot I ever paddled through. Everything else was 5.4, pretty much, or 5.5 and under, I think it was. Yeah, 5.5 and under, everything else. But the majority of it, 2.9, 3.9, 4. So I got to thinking, if I'm going to be fishing that area a good bit until the state parks open back up, all of them, until I can get to one of those, I might want to try stuff that is a little bit more shallow oriented. Instead of throwing out all the deep ones, the deep runners, and bringing them in every time with this much crud hanging from them. Because they're on bottom time they hit, pretty much. Time they hit and you start to reel, they're already on bottom. Think about it. If I'm only fishing in 1.9 foot up to like 5 foot, it don't take them long to reach bottom. What's up, Bull Gear? But I got me this is a white or a bone as they call it. Same kind of lure, just different color. Shallow runners. These are only supposed to run, I think it said these run like 4 feet deep. I think it's 2 to 4 feet deep is what they run. And I think that'll be real good back there in that section of water. In Memphis today. Cool. This one does 4 to 6 feet. Kind of a bluegill pattern. This one does 4 to 6 feet. That's what it runs. Of course, that's just a Walmart brand Ozark Trail. This one is a red crawdad. That's what they call it. And let's see. I'm trying to see the weight on it real quick. Model A. I think this one runs 4 to 6. I could be wrong about that one, though. And then I've got this. First one ever. It's Booyah. This is Pad Crasher Jr. Well, let's see. You've got Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Daredevil, Thor, Hulk, you just gotta Scarlet Witch. Got a bunch of them there. Got a little bit of everybody on there. to be honest. But yeah, right up here, Spidey and Captain America over here. That's these two. And then right here would be Daredevil. I love comic books. I love like superheroes, stuff like that. Yeah. Spider-Man was my favorite comic book hero as a young kid. Then as a teenager, it was Spidey and Wolverine. So, but yeah, I figured if I was going to fish in that shallow water down there, where the water's no deeper than, say, 6 foot at its deepest point, it was 6'2". That was the deepest point I found in the cove. And the majority of it is 5.5 foot and under. I'd say Spidey's one of the smartest, so that makes him really tough because he's one of the smartest cats out there. I mean, Spidey was always pretty smart. You know, he was always outsmarting the guys, bad guys. That and his sarcasm, I guess, caught him off guard because he was a littler guy and he was so sarcastic. It made them mad, and then they messed up and got sloppy. But Spidey was just, to me, always so smart, you know. And the way he could grab something and use anything against you as a weapon. You know, let me grab this over here and throw it at you and hit you with it. I wouldn't say he was the toughest. Wolverine was one of my favorites as one of the toughest because it was just hard to stop him. And Iron Man, because of his brain. He's kind of like Spider-Man. Him and Spider-Man. Really smart. Really good with gadgets. You know, Spidey and Iron Man, kind of right there. Hulk, just because of his brute strength. You know, I'd have to call it Hulk versus Thor. You say Hulk versus Thor, huh? But that's the good thing about them. Everybody can have their opinions. A lot of people think Batman is the best superhero ever. You know, he's one of the most publicized superheroes ever. Because weird thing is, Batman was considered a vigilante. The rest of these guys are considered more like superheroes. Like you talk about Thor, Iron Man, stuff like that. Superheroes. Dr. Doom versus Iron Man. Wishing I was fishing says Hulk. Now, if you're talking about the Hulk that can keep his head while fighting, oh yeah. A Hulk that can think and rage, he's pretty much invincible. But the Hulk that don't think too good and just wants to Hulk smash. I mean, look at how many times Iron Man can show you real quick how he can outsmart you and stop you. I mean, he went and built the Hulk Buster suit and laid him out. He just laid the Hulk out with the Hulk Buster. But, you know, everybody says the same thing about Batman. Batman versus Superman. Batman just goes and gets him a little bit of kryptonite and makes Batman drop because he's smarter. You know, so you have different things about each character that can make them one way or the other. Batman, he just had all the impressive gadgets. I mean, come on, he had some good gadgets. That was because, you know, his family left him money. He had all that money to invest in getting all of his good stuff. And then he went and learned how to fight. Whereas Iron Man, he didn't really know how to fight, but he was smart enough to know how to survive. So he created that sweet suit. Now, Juggernaut, it depends on if you can unlatch his helmet. That's the biggest thing. That's his downfall. If you can get him trapped long enough to unlatch that helmet, get the helmet off of him, that's how you take him down. I saw one of the comics where that's how Spidey fought him and won. Spidey took, unlatched one side, whipped to the other side, unlatched, then threw the third web, pulled his helmet off, and threw it over here to the side. And then when he come running at him, he was able to do what he had to do to stop him. And that's how Spidey stopped him. He had to get the helmet off of him. But yeah, really strong character. But I don't know if Juggernaut could beat Hulk. Yeah, if given big guy versus big guy, I think Hulk would take Juggernaut. I could be wrong about that, but that's just an opinion. Doom versus Iron Man, that's a tough one. Dr. Doom was actually pretty smart. But Iron Man is like next level genius. I'd say Iron Man if I just had to pick one. I'd say Iron Man would take Dr. Doom, but it would be a battle that he would have to really think about, what he was going to do and how he was going to beat him. Iron Man would have to use his senses. That's for sure, his brain. Like he did with Hulk. I mean, come on. He just went and, hey, wait a minute. I can't beat him in this regular suit. We can't stop him with this. Let me go build this big one and knock him out. Juggernaut beat Hulk a few times and not even his strongest form. Wow. So Hulk got punked. Well, that's just like as strong as Wolverine is, because with his healing, that makes him really, real good adversary. Plus with his rage, he's really can go through somebody. But, I mean, look at how easy Magneto can beat him because of Magneto's powers. Magneto can stop him like nobody's business. He runs at him with the claws out, and Magneto just, the next thing you know, the claws are pointing at his own chest, making him stab himself. And that's when they got to do brain things and fool Magneto into thinking, yeah, you're stopping him, and we'll send somebody else in to attack you. But yeah, I think everybody has their strengths and weaknesses according to who they're battling. The most powerful form of Juggernaut would be Tryon Juggernaut, who only had a brief appearance in Uncanny X-Men. This version of Juggernaut has almost full access to Cybertrax. Oh, cool. So I definitely take it you're an even bigger comic book fan than me. Because that part I did not know about the Juggernaut Tryon version. I didn't know about that one. What's up, Massive Clouds? Good to see you, my friend. Been fishing, just got home, huh? Cool. I was telling wishing I was fishing 73 and Bull Gear RC videos that I had just went fishing like last week. And I didn't catch but one brim, so I didn't even film it. I took my depth finder with me, fish finder depth finder with me, and I checked the depths of the cove. I caught my biggest fish this year yesterday. 7.4 pound largemouth. Congrats, my friend. Congrats. But yeah, I checked the cove out to see how deep it was in every section. What's up, Bobby's RCs? Hope you're doing all right. But yeah, massive. I checked the cove back there. The deepest point in the cove that the depth finder could find was 6.2 feet deep. The rest of it was 5.5, the next deepest point, and then down between your 2.9 and your 4.9 were your average, and had some areas as low as 1.9 in 2 or 3 spots. Well, that's good. Glad to hear you're doing good. And I was telling them that I went and bought me another tray to go in my tackle box that I carry when I go fishing. And I picked up me a shallow runner bomber, another shallow runner bomber. I picked this one up, which looks more like a bluegill, and it only runs like 4 to 6 feet deep. I picked up my first Booyah, the Pad Crusher Junior, top water frog. And I picked up this red crawdad. And I think all those are going to be perfect for that deepness. Pad crushers are really good. And I've noticed a lot of that stuff's on top of the water back there. I've noticed a few lily pads. And I'm like, got to get one of these and throw near them lily pads just to see. Because there could be a lunker laying right under them. You know, could be. Or one of these shallow ones. One of these bombers. Or this crawdad when it goes down, can go down to 6 feet. Or this one that can run about 4 to 6 feet deep. Any of these might be something that'll hit. I was telling them earlier that I want to try to fish stuff that I know is more appropriate to that depth of water. Because every time I throw out just a regular deep runner, it comes back. The hooks are all fouled up. I've probably got stuff hanging that far down from it. Because it goes, as soon as I start reeling it, and if I pause it for 1 second or 2 seconds and then start bringing it back towards me, it comes back and it's got that much gunk on it. Like every time. On the hooks, all over the body, all up the line. And I just want to use a little bit shallower running stuff just to see if I can get to about the depths where they are without dragging the bottom every time. You know, that's why I'm trying not to run anything that runs any deeper than, say, 4 to 6 foot deep. Mainly down there. Now, when I go to other places like state parks and stuff like that, that's when I might throw out all my stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of snot grass here. Yeah. And sometimes you just get aggravated by that. You done been down there fishing for an hour, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and all you're doing is sitting there pulling that grass off every time you reel in. It makes you not want to be throwing deeper. It makes you want to go shallower, you know, or top water. Trust me, a jig, you throw a jig out down there with a rubber trailer on it, that thing will have gunk around it that big around. It'll look like you just reeled in a big old softball. Because I'll throw a jig out there and be, you know, just kind of working it towards me. As soon as I bring it up out the water, it's like this big around. It feels like it weighs 5 pounds. And I got to sit there and dig all that off of it. And, you know, a lot of people say throw the jig out, let it sink a little bit, and then start reeling it. What's up, Mr. Tuner 89? No, this is a Lake Marion. Not Hartwell, Lake Marion. The grass is usually where they are. Yep, I understand that, but I just don't want to completely be mucked up in it every time I fish the whole time I'm fishing. Especially if I'm not getting any hits. Now, if I throw over there and I'm getting bites in that area, yeah, I'll continue to throw it and clean the crap off of it. But if I'm sitting there and I done fish for an hour, hour and a half, and I'm throwing over there and I'm bringing back 5 pounds of grass every time, and I'm not doing anything, I'm going to switch up to something different. That's just me. I'm either going to go a little bit shallower, mid-range shallow, or I'm going to come up towards the top and get something that runs top water or just under the top of the water. And I've seen a few lily pad sections back there in that cove, and I know there's probably some bass or something hiding under those. And that's why I want some of these shallow ones, because I can throw them up in there and know that they're only going to go down a couple feet. That way they're not as likely to get hung up, is what I'm getting at too. But everybody has their preference. And everybody also has their better spots that they go to. This spot back here in the cove, I mean, come on. Let's be serious. It's only produced like 1 brim and 1 pickerel out of the 5 times I fished it. I've got a pickerel and a brim. And five trips down there. 2 fish out of 5 trips. So it ain't exactly been my most productive spot. Now, where I put my kayak out last year, up on that little beachy, sandy area, and then fished along the banks, that was my most popular catching session on the kayak. I think I caught like 5 or 6 brim that day. So I at least caught more than 2 or 3. My favorite lure is a Zoom Super Fluke. What's up? Shin RC. Glimmer Blue. I've got white, the short flukes. I've got the bubble gum, I think 6-inch. And I've got some other, like shad colored flukes and stuff like that. So I've got different flukes. I picked up the Shimano SLX DC. Amazing reel. Congrats. Yeah, I heard it was a humdinger. Man, I'm just going to bring this out. Flukes are awesome. I love them. Well, there's my Salty Super Fluke. Bubble gum. The bubble gum. Swimming Super Fluke Junior. White ice. Like I said, these are Swimming Super Fluke Juniors. They're called white ice because they're white and got the glitter up on the back. I've got these. These are the no-name ones that came from Wish.com. Look like a little salamander. Like I said, the bubble gums. Then I've got the lizards. Then I've got the auger tail worm, which is pumpkin seed and chartreuse. And then I've got the skirted. That's a skirted grub. That's what this one is. It's called a skirted grub. So you hauled it in. So you hauled it in on the VW, huh? On the old bug. And then I've got these made by Cream Worms. Already got the hooks already rigged up. Looks like a little red worm. And then I have soft body frog with a jig head through it. And then I got that body there if I lose the other one or it gets tore up fishing. Had to walk like almost 150, 200 feet carrying that sucker to the pond. Ah. Now, did you carry a bunch of gear with you? You carry a bunch of gear with you? I'm looking at it now. Don't look bad up there. It looks like a toy car. Yeah, it looks like you did an RC up with a kayak on top of it for a video. From that perspective, that distance. Wishing I was fishing 73. Later, brother. You have a good one. Hey, keep an eye out for that video I got coming in the next day or two. Because you might want to check out what's going to be in that video. Turn it sideways, your car may flip. Now, Bobby's RCs. You asked the question, what's the next challenge I had fun? I don't know, my friend. I don't know if the challenges will go any further or whether they will. I'll have to come up with something else if I decide to do another one. But it didn't really go anywhere so far. You and Tom's Hobbies, the only two people that bothered to participate in it. Everybody else apparently was too busy. You know, I've got over 1,600 subscribers. Apparently everybody was too busy. Except for you and Tom Hobbies. The only two that participated in it. You know, I mean, it wasn't nothing but a 2-minute video challenge. You know, that could have been completed in 5 minutes or less out in the front yard. But apparently nobody had time to do it or didn't want to do it. So it was just you and Tom Hobbies. Bobby's RCs and Tom Hobbies is the only one that even competed in it. I really appreciate that, by the way. Yep, walked the boat to the water, then had to go back and carry the crate, seat, tackle box, anchor and stuff. Then back again, got my boots, stabilizers, then fishing rods. I haven't ran my cars in a while. They're still packed up in the building since the move. Well, it's good to see you. At least you're back online. Seems like pretty regular now. Went on a bad day, windy as hell. I was blowing all over the place. Say a little, well, other than the wind blowing you around, did it feel pretty good? I don't want to ask too much because I don't want to take away like what did you catch, what didn't you catch. No, I don't want to take away from your video because you haven't put it up yet. But it should have still been pretty stable. I mean, I can understand it's blowing you across the water and everything because you went on a real windy day. But it should have been stable with those stabilizers you got. I mean, you got stabilizers on yours. It should have been pretty stable. Felt good. I think it is stable, and you can use it without the stabilizers on it. Is that what you did today? went ahead and tried it out without the stabilizers. Because I went back and looked, my kayak, your kayak. I looked at both of them. Okay, mine's 10 foot. Yours is like 8 foot, 8.5 foot. With them on, no way you're flipping. So, in other words, that's really good. So if you're on the water and boats get near you and make a pretty good wake, you ain't got to worry about it as much. You've got them. They're going to help you handle the wake. Whereas mine, I don't have them. If I get hit by some big waves, it could, bloom, capsize me. But I looked at both of them. My kayak's 10 foot. Yours is like 8, 8.5, whatever it is for sure. I think it's 8. Both of them are about the same wideness. Yours, I think, is 30 inches wide. Mine is 31. So there's not a huge difference wideness-wise. No, too scared of falling in that messy gunk crap. I would rather take it a bit more time and put them on. Well worth the safety. True. All right, Bobby's RCs. Later, my man. Have a good one. Yeah, I'd actually thought about getting the one you've got. The little 8-footer. Because I've got a Subaru Outback out there in the front yard. I could take your little 8-foot one. I can fold down the back seat, lay the front seat back to the back seat, slide your kayak in nose first all the way up towards the dash, and then just shut the hatch with the rod and reels over here to the side of it. All my tackle and stuff to the left side of it. Yours would fit in my car. That little 8-foot one would fit in my car. And that way it would be simple to carry it. I could just pull it around to the car, slide it up in there, shut the hatch, drive down to the lake, slide it out, and go fish. But mine holds more weight. Yours, I think, is, what is it, 225? Or is it 250? And mine holds 275. I like having that extra, holding that 275. That way, when I get on it, I know I can put a decent amount of tackle without being near flipping it. I still haven't got another kayak. Thinking of getting a John boat and putting a false floor in it and turning it into a bass style boat. Hey, if that's what you want to do, it's just a little bit. The only thing I like about these kayaks and the little inflatable pontoon boats is your maneuverability, ease of transportation, and stuff like that. Think about it. You got an inflatable pontoon boat. Say you spent $250. You can just load that inflatable pontoon in the trunk of your car, go down to the lake, blow it up in a few minutes, put it together, and be on the water. And because it's a pontoon and it's wide, you ain't flipping. Now, if it's windy, you will get blowed all over the lake and back if you're fishing in an inflatable pontoon. That's what I like about the kayaks a little bit more. They're a little bit faster, a little bit more stealth. Yeah. Because you can start one up going towards a shallow area where, say, you want to go fish. You can start paddling towards it and then just let off. And if it tracks decent, it'll take you almost up to where you want to be. Then you can drop your anchor, start fishing, and pretty much be in pretty stealth, situation. I will tell you, putting a pickerel in that kayak, it's hairy. Well, that's kind of bringing a fish in any kayak. If it's landing up in between your legs, it can be a hairy situation. Now, I looked at one of the base inflatable pontoon boats. I found one that I can get. It's a base unit by a big name company, $199.99 before tax, free shipping. So $200. Now, it doesn't have the floor right up here. You got the pontoons out here, and you got two bars that come out like this and curve, and you lay your feet up on those. Or you just dangle your feet in the water wearing flippers or wearing rubber boots. Well, I was thinking put your feet up here, and then when you catch something and you're reeling it in, when you start getting it to you, you drop your feet over here and bring it in between those two sections of metal, and then you just reach down and grab the fish. Pop the hook out of his mouth, and you drop him right back down in the water. That way, he's technically never in the boat. I have to learn on it so I know what to do and make things work better. Yeah. Hey, man, it just takes time. The more you go out on that boat, the more you'll adjust to it. And the more you'll figure out what you got to do that works for you. Toothy fish are fun. But if you give me the option, I would rather catch a bass all day long than catch the pickerel and have to try to get him off the hook. Because, I mean, let's be real. Bass, bring it up. Pop, throw him back. Pickerel generally ain't that easy, generally. He looks like he's ready to take a finger off or something every time you catch one. I mean, that one I caught, he didn't want to calm down. It took everything I could get the hooks out of his mouth. And he done bit down on that lure and literally crushed that cheap lure. So, yeah, way more aggressive fish when it comes to worrying about getting bit by them. But, I mean, you'll get what you want. You'll figure out the way you want to work it. Now, pickerel like catching a hot potato. You took your crate out on the water with you, right? You mounted the crate back to the kayak and took it out on the water with you? All right, did you leave the rod and reels turned the original way? Or did you try them a different way? I mean, did you leave them all the way at the back of the boat? At the back of the crate like you had them in the video where you mounted them? Or did you turn the crate sideways so they'd be on one side or the other side? Or did you turn it all the way around and have them directly behind the seat? I'm just saying, did you move the crate? You ain't got to give away no fishing stuff that you did. I watched the video to see that. I'm just curious about the crate. Which way you went with this time? I left them at the back. I can get them like that. Oh, so the kayak's short enough that you can still reach them at the back of the crate. Cool. I'm glad that worked out for you then. That way you don't have to sit there and go, okay, I need to turn it to the left one notch so they can be right here to my left, or I need to take it and turn it around to the right, or I want to turn it and put them right behind the seat. Excuse me. But yeah, like I said, mine, I still want to test my kayak and see if I can fit it in my Subaru. Like I said, I got a little Outback wagon, a little Subaru Outback. And I want to see if I can fit my 10-foot kayak up in the Subaru with the front seat laid back like that and the back seat folded down. And just slide it in there on one side. Because I got that back seat that's got the 60-40 split. And I can just let down the 60 side, which is wide, and leave this side over here up. Let down that front seat and try to slide it all the way up in there. And then I want to see if I can get the hatch to close with it all the way up to the dash. And if I can, then that means I don't even need the roof straps. I won't even have to put it on the roof. I can just roll it around the front yard, slide it up in the back of the car, put the rod and reels in my tackle box over here on the left side of the back of the car, shut the hatch, go to where I want to go fishing, slide it out, put it in the water, get my rod and reel, set them in it, close the car up, move the car out of the way, come back after I fish, put it back up in the back of the car. What I would do is probably carry me a sheet and lay across the seats. So that way any muck that's on the kayak comes off onto the seat, the cover over the seats. Yeah, and I put my anchor sitting on the side of the boat, leaning on the crate side. That worked out great also. Cool. Yeah, it would. I mean, because that means you ain't got to have it on top of the car. So you ain't got to worry about if you got it strapped tight enough. The kit I looked at Walmart to put it on top of my wagon is $30 for the kayak kit. And it comes with the foam pads that you put on the roof. And then you put the kayak up there and then you strap it down. Well, if you're going to another town to go fishing and you're running down a 55, 60 mile an hour highway, you still got to worry about that air getting up under it in the wind. But if I could put it in the back of my car, then I know it ain't going nowhere because it's sitting right here beside me. That's what I'm looking at. I also did not fill up the stabilizers all the way. They were a bit soft in the water, and it was super stable. Cool. But what I've looked at is because my idea is if I can haul it in the car, that's way better in the car than on top of the car. You know? Let's think about it. I ain't got to worry about stretching, trying to slide it up there, getting it landed where I want it, throwing ropes over or tie down straps over and strapping it down. I can just pull it up to the back of the car, pop the hatch, slide it up in there with the seats already down, slide it up in there, go to the fishing hole, get it out, go fishing, lay a sheet up there, put it back up in there, come home, and get it out whenever. I can just lock my car up when I come home. If I want to, I can leave it in there. But I also did look, to be honest. I'll be honest with y'all guys. I try to be every time I come on here. I did look at $199.99 inflatable pontoon boat. It's by a good name brand. They've been around for about 8-10 years. Reputable as all get out. Known to last. But it's the cheapest version that they sell. In other words, it doesn't come with all the added goodies. I also use that razor shad I think you said you used. And the bass were popping it like crazy. It was awesome for the bass the day I went out to test it. Cool. But like I said, I looked at that inflatable pontoon boat. The biggest thing is with that, it's going to be stable. It's not going to flip easy. It's only $200. You're not going to flip over in it easy. It'll fit in any trunk of any car, so I know it'll fit in my wagon. It's only 8 or 9 foot long, assembled. It's only about 8 or 9 foot assembled. Now, what I would do is assemble the frame pretty much and set it in the car and then just lay the flat pontoons behind it. That way, when you get to the lake, all you got to do is inflate the set it outside the car, inflate the 2 pontoons halfway up, attach everything, and then inflate them where you want them. And then you ease it into the water, leave it right there with your fishing gear on it, move your car out of the way, and head out fishing. The only bad thing is, if you're coming across the water and you don't see a stick sticking up out of the edge of the water, it catches the boat, it could puncture it, and there you go. Your boat's sinking with you out there on it. That is the bad part about an inflatable boat. Launching it out into the water from the bank, if it's any kind of gravel or anything, you got to worry about some of that trying to puncture it. If you're bringing it up onto the boat ramp, you got to worry about the pavement and the stuff like that trying to puncture it. But if you're launching it from a dirt or something like that, I don't see a problem with it. Yeah, I looked at that inflatable boat kind of like what you had. I checked yours out. I mean, and they look like, oh yeah, you ain't flipping that thing like it would be a tank on the water. But I didn't like how you sat in it. I mean, you sit way down in it compared to up on that kayak, on top of the kayak. I mean, and you sit down far enough on the top of a kayak. That's why I like the inflatable pontoon boat. It's because you got that chair that sits up like a regular seat up above the pontoons. And you're like this. And when you bring one in, you've got that open area in between the pontoons. You can reel him up in that open area, most of them, and just grab a hold to the lip, take the hook out, drop it back down in the water if you're not keeping them. Now, if you caught a pickerel or a gar, which both had those big teeth, you got to be a lot more careful with those because those are pontoons. That's like catching a catfish and bringing him up with those pontoons like that. If he hits it with that side fin, he might puncture it. But a pontoon stable is all get out. Yeah. See, the kayak, you can get it going real fast and just slide up onto the bank. Then you climb out of it, and you ain't got to worry about nothing getting ripped. That's the bad thing about the inflatable boats. You come up, 9 times out of 10, you're getting wet getting out of them, the inflatable boats. I've seen a few nice inflatable boats and pontoons, but I'd be scared of getting a rip or hole in it. The main thing that worries me about the pontoon is the getting a hole in it. You know, I mean, I know you can buy a patch kit for it, and you can pretty much fix it. You know, that ain't what I'm worried about. What I wonder is if you could take one of them. This is just an idea I had. Take one of those inflatable pontoons, inflate it, flip it upside down. One day, just sitting out in your yard, you're not going to use it that day, and just spray a light coating across the bottom of the pontoons with that Flex Seal. You know, kind of giving an extra coating of something. Line-X. Yeah, kind of like Flex Seal. Like put a layer of sealant over the bottom of those pontoons. But do it when they're inflated so that way it dries and conforms in that position. That way when you deflate it, it doesn't affect it. It doesn't affect it. If you do it while they're deflated and it dries a certain way, it might not let them inflate completely. That's what I'd be worried about. Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to have a little extra protection, you know, because you say you don't see that stick sticking up out of the water. You're coming up into a cove to go fish for some pickerel, some bass, and you're really excited to get up in there. You're not paying attention. You don't see that one stick sticking up like this out of the water, and you just come across here. Rip. Next thing you know, you got a 2-inch gash in the side of your boat. And unless you got the pump right there with you, you probably ain't making it back to shore. Unless you're in a cove really close to the bank. Or in a pond and you're not that far away from the bank. But don't get me wrong, I do want one. I really would like to have an inflatable pontoon. You figure $199.99 before tax. So you're looking at what? Less than $220. You buy you a pump. You take it and you set it in the back, in the trunk of your car, or in the back of your car, like my wagon. You pull down to the water, you put it together, you blow it up, and out you go. I hit sticks, nothing popped. And my boat's a cheap one. The good Pro Intex versions are way better and harder to puncture. So you're thinking you'd be good. Now, did you ever get worried, Shin? Did you ever get worried when you hung a lure and you were sitting there trying to yank it out? Did you ever get worried that that lure was going to come back and hook into your boat and puncture it? Yeah, the ones I seen were Intex. Well, they say those are better, Massive Clouds. They say those are really good, the Intex. Now, the $200 pontoon I'm looking at is them ones made by Colorado, the Colorado ones, those nice ones. You got the blue and white, you got the orange, you got the green, you got all those different color versions of them. Oh, yeah, and you got a blue and gray one. The blue and white is the lowest on the totem pole. One I was looking at, they sell a motor and motor mount for it. Yeah. Well, that's the same way with some of these pontoons. I do not use treble lures, but use wormed hooks only, and did what you said, and bounced lures off the boat, no holes at all. Like $200 to $300 for the boat, the bracket, and the motor. Well, that's not a bad deal, especially if you could get it for $250. Just say around $250. Get the boat, a motor, and the bracket. That puts you out on the water and fishing for less than $300. I mean, it's kind of hard to complain if you can be out on the water fishing for under $300. You don't use crankbaits, Steve? So you don't use anything with treble hooks when you're out on the inflatable boat? That's what we're talking about, though. I would be afraid if you're out there using a top water, like a popper, and you got trebles hanging down, and you yank it out of a tree, it comes flying back, hooks into your boat. If you ain't got something right then to patch it or a good pump, you better start back to the bank real quick, because it's probably going down. Let me glance at this Intex one real quick. The Intex Mariner three boat set. Oh, now that is nice. Oh, and a couple of inflatable seats. And a little pouch to hold a few things. Oh, yeah, I see that strip. That strip under the bottom helps. What's up, Dab Smith? Nope, scared like you said, but my boat, I got it for only $59. Yeah. I mean, you can't beat deals like that. If you can get a boat and get on the lake for $60, I mean, you can't really knock it. And then when you can do better, you do. It's like I've got my kayak out there. It's 10 foot. But I don't know if it'll fit in my car. And say I wanted to go to just put it in my car. So I wanted something smaller for my car. Well, then I could get one of those inflatables or one of the inflatable pontoons, put that in my car, haul it to a certain pond or lake. Guys on YouTube put a wood floor in my boat covered with carpet, and they make seats that bolt in a real swivel fishing chair. You can stand in my boat easy. It won't flip. Wow. So in other words, you could take it, cut you the wood, get it cut to the right size, put something around the edge of the wood so it won't, like maybe some foam around the edge of the wood so it won't try to puncture the boat. Lay that floor down in there and already have the seat stands bolted on the floor. So when you put it down in there, I was about to ask you, how did the seats do without having a backing? Because I like that boat you just showed me, but I want some kind of back support. You know, you're sitting out here like this, and you want some kind of back. Are you doing more fishing videos? Yeah, man, I just showed some more fishing lures live tonight. There's one. There's another one. There's another one here. There's a red crawdad there. And then I got me a Booyah Pad Crusher Junior. And I got me another tackle tray to go in my tackle box. I'm just waiting on all the rain we've got here to go away. And then I plan on trying to get out and do another fishing video. As soon as we get some of this rain out of here. I'm not going out and pouring down rain on a kayak when the wind's like 15 miles an hour and it's pouring down rain. I'm just not doing that on my kayak. I'll wait until the rain goes away, and then I'll get my kayak back in the water. Yep, mine is the cheap Seahawk too. Yeah, I've seen both versions. I've seen the Intex and the Seahawk version. A lot of people swear by the Seahawk versions too. Today I went to Walmart and bought some fishing lures. What kind did you get? What kind did you get? Top water, deep runners, shallow runners, plastics. What kind did you get today? But yeah, Steve, last time I was in Walmart, they had your kayak. They had your Daylight, but they had it in the green like I want, like I like. I like that bright green. It's just easy to see on the water. You ain't got to worry about nobody running over you. They had it brand new, $165 for the Daylight. That's a brand new version of it. I mean, I know you got yours for a good deal because yours had that gash in the side that you repaired. But I mean, come on, $165 for brand new. You can't really beat that for a kayak that you can get out on the water and fish out of. I mean, come on. It holds, I think your Daylight says it holds 250. I think that's the amount. And I'm sitting there going, it'll hold 250 pounds. Spinner bait, tackle box, and some hard baits. Cool. You going to be doing a lake, pond, or river fishing mostly with the stuff you bought. But yes, Steve, that was a nice price on it. I think it was $164.99 was what it was. And I'm like, $165, brand new, 8-foot kayak, pond. Okay. These types supposed to be real good airboat. Amazon has all types like this that are good. Which one? The one you gave me the link to? Or the ones like yours? Search this. Amazon Eleiko inflatable pontoon with pre-installed slide slat deck. Heavy duty raft dinghy sport fishing boat with 3 keel air chambers. Where did I get those fishing lures that I showed? The Bombers, the Ozark Trail, the Booyah, and the Crawdad looking bomber. I got all these came from Walmart. Those style boats are real good. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna go ahead and type that in so I don't forget it. And just bring up an Amazon page, and then I'll be right back. Amazon Eleiko. All right. Amazon, go in now. Eleiko inflatable boats. All right, I'll have a look at them a little bit later. I just wanted to bring up the page that they're on. I went to Amazon.com and typed in Eleiko inflatable boats. I'll take a glance at them a little bit later. But yeah, pretty much any lure I bought in the last year would have been Walmart or Wish.com. I bought a couple of lures about 7 lures off of Wish.com. Everything else has pretty much came from Walmart in the last year that I have fishing lure wise. Also, if you did pop your boat, you can't sink because you have to fill 3 air chambers. So if one pops, you still have 2. True. That's what I wish they'd have done with those pontoons. Those dual pontoon boat, got the pontoon here, pontoon here. That way, if they made it where it's dual chamber, half the pontoon goes flat, you still got half a pontoon to at least get you back. Search Amazon for inflatable boats. You will see many more like the Eleiko style they sell. I'll have a look at that later. And do you still have your old fishing rod that you showed in the video? That's that antique rod. If that's the one you were talking about. This one's antique. I kept it for a reason. Because if I don't like this reel, I'll put it back on there and just keep it for looks. But since I've got this rod here, I may get me a bait caster down the line to put on this rod and just put this reel back on the one it came on. Then again, I'm thinking about putting a top water plug or shallow running bait on this and just trying to fish with it just to see. But like I said, the rod is antique. It belonged to my girlfriend's granddaddy. So yeah, I've still got it. Don't plan on getting rid of it. Sentimental reasons, What's up, Tom Hobbies? How's it going, my friend? You doing all right? I'm going to go ahead and show the lures again so you can see them, Tom Hobbies. In my kayak, I am only going to bring a small bag with only a few lures, and that's it. You don't need to bring a big bunch of lures and heavy box in the kayak. Excuse me. Yeah, That's what I was thinking about with your yak. 250 pounds or less, I would probably only like say bring 2 trays. Like if you know you're going out and you're just doing bass fishing that day, maybe pull out a worm tray and pull out maybe some plugs, have them in a tray, bring that with you, put a few hooks and maybe some bullet style weights in there or jigs, and bring 2 trays with you and just go out and bass fish. But now if you're out there and you don't know what you're going to use, then yeah, that's when you want to bring the whole tackle box. But if you got an idea of what you're going to be using in that spot and you already know, okay, I'm going to be fishing top water and shallow runners. Well, then I'll leave all my rubber worms at home. I'll leave all that stuff at home. I'll carry my top water plugs and I'll carry my shallow runners with me. And that way you're only carrying 2 trays with you. And you're not carrying but what? 2 to 5 pounds, maybe 6. And then you're carrying a couple rod and reels. Because if you got a boat that can only hold 250 pounds, and just say you're 200, well then that only leaves 50 pounds or less that you can haul. And if you're carrying a 25 to 35 pound tackle box, your boat can hold 250. Let's say 240 realistically, safely. Take off 10 pounds. Say it can hold 240. You're 200. You got 25 in your tackle box. You ain't got but 15 left. By the time you add your anchor, 2 or 3 rod and reels, a fishing net, a big Gatorade to drink, anything else, next thing you know, you're right there on the dead limit and your boat's sitting really low in the water. That's what worries me. But my boat, the good thing about my 10-foot is I can carry 275 altogether. Oh, yeah, I use a small one in a kayak. Well, when I had one. That's why I want a kayak. That's why I like the kayaks that hold 275 and up. And that's what I like about the inflatable pontoon. That inflatable pontoon can hold 300 pounds on that inflatable pontoon. So you figure an inflatable pontoon can hold 300 pounds. You can carry a good bit of weight. I swear most all times if I go fishing and bring like 3 packs of plastic bait, some worms, only you always catch more than what you bring. Yep. What is my favorite rod to use bass fishing? To be honest, man, I don't have a favorite. I do like your IM6 style rods, better quality. If you can get one that's on sale. And since I'm in a kayak, I don't want any longer than a 6 or 6.5. Lew's IM8 Hank Parker, $40 at Walmart. Yeah, that's not a bad price. But I don't want that IM8. Do they make it in a short size? Or is it like an 8-foot rod? Because I don't want anything further than like longer than 6.5. Because when you're in a kayak and you're trying to bring the rod back here and get to the lure, you got to let a lot of line out in your boat so you can necessarily put the rod down in a holder so the rod ain't going nowhere. Let a good bit of slack out so you can grab the fish, get it off, and then get your lure cleaned off or whatever and get ready to fish again. It does come in a 6.6. Well, there you go. Dab smile. I would actually say that. Go after the Lew's IM8 Hank Parker edition. $39.99 at Walmart. Because I've got a couple of Hank Parker rods and they ain't never gave me any trouble. But yeah, I've got a couple of Hank Parker rods by Lew's and they ain't never gave me any trouble so far. So I would recommend that right there. Me, I would go with the 6.6 because I fish on the kayak. Now, if you're just going to bank fish, pier fish, then why not go for a 610 or a 7? Yeah, but I just like that 6.6 for the kayak. I don't want to be any bigger than a 6.6. I take out generally 3 rod and reels when I go. If that's what you're talking about, Dab Smile. I generally take out 3 rod and reels when I go. I take out 2 6-foot ones, and I take out 1 6.5 foot that I have. I've only got 1 6.5 foot. My other 2 are 6. My other ones are 6 foot. And since I'm in the kayak, I definitely ain't gonna go higher than 6, 6.5, because it's a little bit tedious to get to when you're trying to change out your lure. You're trying to do all that on that 10-foot kayak, because you got to set the rod back down in the rod holder, let out some slack, and everything. But I use a 6.6 and a 7. So Tom Hobbies uses a 6.6 and a 7. It says on them what lures it's made for. I can't use a long rod. Too many trees and brush where I go fishing. Can you show all of your rods and reels? I might can in another video, but I've only got like 3 or 4 in the house. Hold on a second. I'll show the ones I got in the house. Okay, well, of course, you saw this one. Of course, you saw that one. That was the first one I just showed you. Now I'll go get the other ones. I am short and also like the 6 foot, so I can point it down at the ground and throw a lure in tight spots. True. It's easier to throw a 6 foot one out there when you're short than it is a 7 or 8. I'll have to go back in a minute and get other ones. This is one rod here. As you can see, I got that white fluke on there. And that's that's a Lew's right there with a Hank Parker edition. That's a speed stick right there. That's a 6 foot one. And this one is my 6.5 foot. This is a Abel Garcia 6.6 medium action rod. 6 to 17 pound line is what it's designed for. And you can throw like down to 1/4 ounce up to 5/8 ounce easily on this. And this is the Abel Garcia rod and reel. Like I said, a 6.6 rod. And then I got the Abel Garcia Silver Max reel on it. And then I've got these two, which are identical, basically rods. The only difference is the reel. It's the same exact rod. Just two different reels. That's the only difference. Exact same rods, two different reels. Give me a second. I'm going to put these back so they don't fall. I'll be right back. Now, I'm back. That's the five. That's the five I've got in the house. The rest of them are on my back porch, which is covered. My back porch has got a roof on it, so, they're not going to really get a lot of wetness. First rod I showed was this one. I probably could. But I probably won't. I'll probably use it for like throwing out bass plugs and stuff like that. Now, let me go back and catch up what y'all were talking about while I was gone. Massive, you like that DC sound? Love it. Laughing out loud. I used Power Pro Grade on it. Feel like you have a Star Wars. I have 30 pounds. If you set the tension knob how you do for a normal bait, making it fall down slowly, you can whip it out. Don't ever touch the spool at all. It all evens out when it hits the water. Kind of depends on how long you are from your ass to your shoulder sitting in a kayak. That's how I figure on the rod length and mine. Oh, you got almost a 12-foot kayak. You got an 11.6. It's good that you keep your stuff clean. Makes them last. Yeah, my main rod and reel stay in the house with me. The main ones I'm planning on using, they're in the house. So like I said, I got four sitting in the living room. I got this one right here just sitting in the kitchen. And then I probably got another 8 or 10 out on the back porch that's covered over. 6 or 8 or 6 to 10, somewhere along there. Between 6 and 10 more rod and reels out on the porch. I don't hardly use them. That's why they're outside. I got one I need to bring in and take a look at. It's a Mitchell. I need to see if it's still working okay. So I need to put it back on the water. It was always a goodie. It was a Mitchell combo. Mitchell rod, Mitchell reel, spin casting. I need to check it out and make sure everything's okay on it. And if it is, just clean it up a little bit. Start using it again. Because it was always a good rod and reel. Never gave me any trouble. I've got an actual eagle claw reel out there that I've got a fire line on that I use for catfishing. And I've got it on a rhino rod with the glow tip. That's one of my catfishing rigs. Eagle claw reel, fire line on it, on a rhino rod. And then I've got a big Shimano reel about that big around on a 7-foot thick pole that I use for my big catfish. I keep the tension loose since I have a bad habit of thumbing. Yeah, it's fine, but I make sure to stop it when it hits the water since I have the tension loose. I can't throw out without thumbing. I have other bait casters I throw, so I don't want to make a bad habit of not thumbing. True. If you've got like 6 other bait casters and you sit there and start using that one and you never thumb it, you're going to bird nest every time you throw out your other ones with it loose. Like how a bearing spins, you definitely need to thumb it when the lure hits the water. Yeah, or it spits out line. But yeah, right now, I have 2 rod and reels in the living room that are mainly for my bass. And I have 2 rod and reels that are set up for brim and crappie. That's that setup in there. I've got this antique bait caster that I haven't decided what I'm even going to use it for exactly. It's probably going to be bass fishing. It's possibly going to be a top water or a shallow runner. Something that runs about maybe 4 foot deep at the most. But I haven't decided yet. And I may only throw it 1 or 2 times just to see what it does. See if I can catch something on it. And then I may get a regular bait caster and put on that rod and put that antique reel back on the rod it came on and then just put it up, because it's, kind of collectible, family heirloom, whatever. I've gotten really good at regular bait casters. I'm able to get a weightless Senko about 60 feet. Cool. Yeah, that's the worst part about the bait casters that I see. Yeah, they're easier to pinpoint accuracy, put your lure where you want it once you learn them. But until you completely learn them, those backlashes can play havoc on your fishing day. Whereas if you got the spinning reel, which most people know how to use, you're not sitting here going 15, 30 minutes every other time you throw out or whatever. That's the bad thing about a bait caster. But if you get it dialed in, if it's a decent bait caster and you got decent name brand line on there and you get it pretty dialed in, it should be just every now and then bird nest, not every time you throw out bird nest. I never use weights most all the time. Just like a jerk bait, like the Z-Man type with a hook, it casts them very nice. Only time I backlash is when I fling a soft bait off while casting out, throwing weightless in the wind. Thanks, Tom Hobbies. Yeah, I do love how it turned out, how it looks. The reel looks real good. The spool looks good again. Put that new line on there. Put it on that new rod. So I've got to try it out just for that reason. I mean, with it looking like that, even these were like brown, and now they're cream again. So yeah. Yeah, I definitely got to put this one out there and at least try it out. I'm actually thinking, it does look pretty good on that new rod. Now, if I use it, because the art of trying to catch bass is a lot of times stealth works. Well, that thing's really noisy with that bait alarm. We all know this is going to be noisy. If I throw that out like that, I'm probably going to scare the fish away more than I am getting a hit. So, needless to say, I will be turning that off. See? Needless to say, I will be turning that off before I throw out for bass. I don't want all that noise. Now, if I used it for catfishing on the bottom, that wouldn't be a problem. Because I could throw it out, let the noise be there, let it sit on bottom with the bait, get a hit, crank it in with the noise. Catfish, it ain't, that ain't no big deal. The noise ain't gonna bother them. But you throw that out, making all that kind of noise up into a spot where you're trying to be quiet and grab a bass out from under a lily pad or something, more than likely you're going to scare that fish off. Yeah, it's a lot smoother than what it was. And like I said, I'll just cut that clicker, that bait alarm. I'll cut that off. If I'm going to fish for bass with it, I'll cut that off. Throw it out there and then bring it back. And if something hits it, then I'll just put my thumb up there as my drag and set my hook. I never used a bait caster all my life spinning, so now with the bait caster, it's messing up my spinning skills. So you done started getting so used to the bait caster, you're screwing up on the spinning, huh? That's why you got to take one of each. If you go out somewhere where you can, take one of each with you. Take your bait caster and your spinning reel with you. Throw out certain type bait on one and certain type bait on the other. That way you're fishing with them both each time you go. That way you don't get a feel. You don't lean towards one or the other is what I'm getting at. Maybe after a while I will mostly only use them on the kayak because you don't need to cast real far. Yeah, I mean, that is the good thing about a kayak. Any kind of boat, especially a kayak, because you can get right up to where you want to. You can just pitch it over there 3-4 foot away. I can't use spinning reels anymore ever since the 70s when I got used to bait casting. Well, I started out on the old close-faced Zebco series. I had the Zebco 202. That was my first rod and reel as a kid. Was a 202. Then when I became a teenager, my dad gave me his Zebco 700 Hoss is what it was called. It's a 700 Hoss. Big fat Zebco. And this thing was a beast. So I had that one. Well, then when I started fishing with my friends, they were all using spinning reels. And they told me to try it one time. And I started using spinning. Once I started spinning, I never went back. I've got a 33, an old Zebco 33 on the back porch. Hasn't been used in 8 years. The old Zebco 33. I keep it just in case I have company or something and I want to let them fish for something and they don't know how to use spinning reel or something. A lot of people don't know how to use spinning reels. You do fish in some tighter spots than I fish, so I completely understand by using spinning in those spots. Yeah, I'm like Steve there. When you fish in those tight spots, it's harder with that bait caster. It's just hard. I mean, if you're down there and you've only got 2 foot here, 2 foot here, and you ain't got much room and you go to cast out, you just seem to want to get hung up more in the trees around you than you do getting out there in the water. Until you get really, really proficient with it. And then if you got trees hanging over, it's like, okay, I can't side arm it. This tree's too close. I can't overhead it because this tree. But yet I can get out here with my spinning rod and I can come out here and just lightly pitch out. I don't know, in tight spots, yeah, I prefer spinning reels. I do want to try to get a regular bait caster. I'm not talking about this antique over here that doesn't have no button or anything, you know. I do want to get me one that has the button that you click to let the line out. That way I can click the button, throw out, and then reel it back in like a regular reel. But I am going to try that old antique bait caster and try it fishing one day. Massive, when I used my first bait caster reel, I did good. Then when I went to cast lure, hit a branch, and boy, that cast made a super bird's nest. Yeah. That's the one bad thing about the bait caster. If you hit anything the wrong way, like a lure hits a branch or something, it stops that lure. If you don't have your thumb right there, stopping that line immediately, whoa, 30 minutes later, you're still getting it out. Either that or you just cut all the line off and put new on there. Piscifun Torrent, good for $32, shipped. I think I saw one of them the other day. I was looking online at some bait casters, and I think I actually saw one of them. Might have been on Amazon where I saw it. That might have been where I actually saw it at. Was on Amazon. Cast King has a bait caster with centrifugal brakes for $49. Oh, that would be a good deal. Can you get me a link to that one? Massive Clouds? You get me a link to that one and shoot it to me in the video one day or something? The one you're talking about? If you would, get me a link, shoot it to me. Nothing else, you can put it in this video, even after the video is over with. Just come back and comment and put the link. Here's the link, Marshall. You know, I'd appreciate that. I'd like to check that one out. The one you just talked about from Cast King. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Cast King Spartacus. Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah, that's a nice KastKing. Thanks for getting me that link, though. That way I could go look at it and see. Yeah, the Mock Crush does look sweet. That orange one. I'm going to buy it to see how good it is. Might use it for frogging. They have more colors. But yeah, I just went over there and looked at the KastKing. It's KastKing Spartacus. And I looked at a red and black one. Man, that thing looks so cool. It's red and black. It's got a red spool. It's got some red on the handles, red on the brake area. Looks really cool. I just went and looked at that one. KastKing, the green and the black is the best. When you get it, do a review on it, man. Or if I get it, I would definitely be planning a review on it. I got a video that's coming out in the next day or two about something I bought for when I'm out fishing and kayaking. And I'm going to try it out, see how it works compared to the original. And if it works as good or better, I'll have a review showing whether it works as good or better or whether it just, was crap. But I've got something that I just got in the mail. I'm about through editing the video, and that'll be coming up in a couple of days. I'm going to try that out when I'm out fishing, see how it works. I hope it works as good as the original, as good or better, so that way, I can say, hey, I got this for this kind of price, and it works as good as the original or better, and didn't pay for this for it. So I got a new video coming up in a day or two. That's nice. Do they sell just the orange reel? If you backlash with centrifugal brakes, you don't thumb it when it hits the water. Oh, if you backlash with the centrifugal, it's because you didn't thumb it. Cool, can't wait. Load the vids. Yeah. Lose Mock Crush. But yeah, that video will be up in a day or two. Like I said, it's just something I've got that I'm going to mainly use when kayaking and fishing. And the original one is probably right here on this level. And I'm hoping the ones I bought are going to be at least equal to that, if not better. I can try it out a few times, find out if it's just as good or better or if it's worse, and then I can let people know. And then people can decide if they're interested in that or not. Some may be, some may not. But that's just like if I get a bait caster, a new bait caster. I need to do an unboxing of it when I get it. And that way I can do me a review of it after I use it a few times. I should have unboxed my Silver Max back when I got the Abel Garcia Silver Max. I should have unboxed it. That way everybody would know, hey, he just recently bought this. He's used it 3 or 4 times now. Now he's giving a review on it. But I'm going to tell you, that Abel Garcia Silver Max has been a gem so far. It just throws so good, reels in so good. It just works flawlessly so far. Now, I haven't caught anything like 6, 8, 10 pounds with it to see what it can do handling big fish, but it's been cool so far. So far, I love the Abel Garcia Silver Max. Crush is just like using with loose tension. Just thumb at the end of the cast. You see Daiwas, they have special braking that pops out and applies pressure. Kind of works like a DC reel, but the front part has a T unit that the string goes through. That is also super nice. Yeah, there's another big brand that has a feature like that. I put new bearings in my buddy's S-Max Cast a Country Mile. Yeah, I love my spinning reel, that Abel Garcia Silver Max. I just love it, man. So far it's just been the perfect reel. But I had heard somebody, it's one of the guys that has his own YouTube fishing channel, talking about some good things about KastKing. I don't know whether he was talking about the reels or whether he was just talking about the fishing line being good. But that's what made me say, hey, get me a link to that KastKing. That might be something I want to check out down the road. I have a Silver Max bait caster. Fishing with PH? Question mark. I want the Ah, so you want another Shimano. Yeah, they cost so much though. Can't get it right now, so I got to save for it. That China stuff is cheap. China stuff is cheap, and some are awesome. But I get the saltwater ones for bassing. 500 bucks. Yeah, that's a bit up there. And I take it that's just the reel. Do you know what kind of kayak I could go get for that 500 bucks? I mean, good gravy. 500 bucks for just the reel. I could go get me a sweet kayak for around 500 bucks. I mean, 500 bucks for one reel. Good gravy. I mean, that's just blowing my mind. That's because I don't have that kind of money. I don't never able to throw out 500 bucks for just a reel. I mean, I've got a 4-wheeler that I ride, and I didn't pay but seven for it when I bought it, and I've had it now for 3 years, and I didn't pay but seven for a 4-wheeler I bought, and we're talking $500 for just a reel. I see guys with the kayaks that pedal drive and stuff. Yep, I see the ones that are pedal drives. They can be pedal, they can be paddle, they can be motor, they can be all that. But I don't want the pedal ones. I'm satisfied with this because it's not like I'm trying to go a country mile. And I've seen some nice ones that range 350, 379, 399, 429, 469, 489. I've seen some real nice ones up in that price point. So yeah, for 500, you can still get a really nice kayak. I mean, right now you look over there at what's the Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's. They've got one on sale right now. It's the Ascend. It's an Ascend kayak. It's the same width as my kayak, 31 inches wide, 9 foot long, on sale for around 250. And it's supposed to be more stable than my kayak. It's supposed to be so stable because the way the deck is laid out that you can actually stand up in it while fishing. And this is only like a $250 kayak. Maybe 3 grand when I had an electric motor. Paddle one was 2,100, I think. Yeah, they have trouble trying to follow me sometimes in the jungle with the logs and stuff. Yeah, you got all that crap hanging down way under your kayak. It defeats the purpose of having it for the shallow areas. You can't get where you used to get. almost got the Corrado DC, but after watching reviews, they said the SLX DC had more brake control and cast at the same distance. Plus, it looks cool. Good in the wind on the way back, though. True. If you're out there and it happens to be 10, 15, 20 mile an hour winds, yeah, of course, having a motor of any kind is better. And pedals, we cut through the water because it's under your boat. Of course, pedaling is going to get you back quicker than against the wind. How do I like the GoPro? I like it other than the way it arranges the clips. Some reason or another, my GoPro Hero 5 Black wants to put the clips out of order. In other words, if I go out and shoot a video, say I go out on the lake, and I put the battery in, close it up, start filming, I got it here on my chest, and I film for an hour and 20 minutes, whatever. I'll come home, and it'll be broken down in clips. Or if I stop the video and I shoot clips, say I shoot 5 clips, number 1 will actually be number 3, number 5 will be number 1, and 3 and 4 will probably be reversed. It's mixing the clips. It's got them numbered wrong. So you got to sit there and open each clip and look through it to find the clip that goes in what order. GoPro screwed the pooch on that one with mine. It might just be a glitch with my GoPro Hero 5 Black, but that's a screwed up glitch. Because I could take that Firefly 6S right there, old camera, like 3-4 years old, and I can go out there and shoot 150 clips, and every one of the 150 clips are going to be in order. Number 1 is going to be number 1. 2 is going to be 2. 150 is going to be 150. They're all going to be in order. But with this GoPro Hero 5 Black, if I shoot 150 clips, number 1 may actually be 150. And 150 may actually be number 1. And I don't think you should have to sit there and mess around with it. It should come factory set to put the clips in order. You know? I mean, I'm going to look at it one day, but it should come factory set where, hey, I just filmed. This is clip 1. I just filmed. This is clip 2. Okay, I get on the boat. I bring the camera on. I say, hey, everybody, Marshall, about to do a little fishing back here in this cove. I'm going to cut this off, and when we get back to where I'm going to start fishing, I'll turn it back on and let y'all see some action. Cut the camera off. Paddle back a little ways. Turn the camera back on. Say, all right, we're going to throw over here by this pier. All right, then I fish for a while. Cut that off. Move to another spot. Cut it back on, fish another area back there. When I come home, it's going to put the last clip that I fished pretty much first and the first one last, and might mix up, like, say, some of the ones in the middle. I for the life of me, I can't understand why the GoPro Hero 5 Black does that. Because, yeah, Master Clouds, it's a big hassle. Because you're sitting there having to rearrange all these clips and find out which one's actually your first one. When you leave it on recording, it breaks up all into different sections. A few minutes each section. It don't make one long clip. I understand that, but they still should be in order. If the GoPro Hero 5 does 5-minute clips, and that's all it does, just say 5-minute clips, and then it stops and does another 5-minute clip, and that's all it can do. They should be in order. They shouldn't be out of order. They should be the way I shot them. If I shot me getting into the water as my first clip, that should not be my last clip on the camera. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, but see, the only bad thing I don't like about looping mode, you set a 5-minute looping mode. And if you threw out, way out with a rubber worm, and you're jigging it, taking your time, you get him right to the boat. And it took you 5 minutes to get back to the boat. Right as you're bringing your fish up in the boat, it restarts recording. It loops over and starts recording again. Nobody saw that catch. All they see is you holding the fish. I'm just saying that's the only thing I don't like about the 5-minute loop. I understand why you do it, but that's the only thing I don't like about the 5-minute loop. You know, I guess you have to look at the time on the files to figure it out. Well, actually, what I do is I'll open the file and I'll let it play like the first 10 seconds, and I'll go, that doesn't belong there. And I'll look at the next file. And generally, I can find it within a couple of files after the first one. I'll find the one that should have been first. Like if I shoot 7 files, it's going to mix up 3 of them. It's just weird. I mean, don't get me wrong. It shoots great footage. My video looks good with it. Got no problems with it there. Now, I get an hour and 21 minutes, 1080p, 30 frames a second. 30 frames a second, 1080p. I can get an hour and 21 minutes on this GoPro Hero 5 Black. Now, if I switch it up to 1080-60, which is what I like to shoot in, I only get 56 to 60. So I get 56 to 60 minutes on 1080-60. So what I did was, my last fishing trip I went, I just wanted to test it out. I dropped that one to 1080-30. And it boosted me from the 56, 60 minutes all the way up to an hour and 21 minutes. So what I figured, if I'm getting an hour and 21 minutes on at 30 frames a second, I'm either going to leave it there or I'm going to get more batteries, and then I'll go back up to 60 frames a second. What was this one? I got a big kit that came with it. I think I bought it refurbished with like a 50-piece GoPro kit. And I got it for like 130, 140. I got the chest mount, a box full of other mounts. So I got a chest mount, a box full of other mounts and other stuff, and other attachments. And I got the camera and the one GoPro Hero 5 Black battery that comes with it. I got all that. I think it was 120. I want to say 129 or 139. No, as soon as you press stop recording, it saves 5 minutes before you press the stop recording button. You won't miss anything. You can get it set longer than 5 minutes if you want to. Well, I might try the 10-minute then. I might look into that. I might try running 10-minute clips and see how that works. See if it'll at least put my files in order. But the problem is, if I put it in 10-minute clips and it misarranges them, that still ain't curing my problem. Okay. Like I said, it was around $129.99 or $139.99 refurbished with all those accessories. And yeah, that was a good price. That's why I picked it up. Like I said, I'm a budget guy. I got to look for that deal. I got to look for that deal, I got to have it. GoPro Hero 7 Black runs hot as hell. That's what I heard. Where do you find refurb GoPros? Go on eBay and type in refurbished GoPro Hero 5 Black. See what you come up with. GoPro Hero 5 Black refurbished. Is that what you're looking for? Is a Hero 5? Or are you looking to go up to Hero 6 or 7 or 8 or what? Or do you just want to GoPro Hero 5 Black? Because I wanted the Hero 5 Black because it's waterproof and you don't need a case to protect it. You just got to make sure after you catch that fish and you press stop recording, make sure you don't forget to press start recording before you start fishing again. I have to hop off. It was great chatting, fellas. Later, Massive. 5 is good. I'm using a GoPro Hero 2 now. Yeah, 5 would be awesome for you. All right, man. Take care, Massive. Yeah, Hero 5 would be perfect for you, man. You definitely. Yeah, Tight Lions, buddy. You definitely would love a GoPro Hero 5 compared to a 2. Because you ain't got to have that bulky case. And it's still waterproof. That's like this one. I love this. My Firefly 6S. I love it. But it's got to be in the waterproof case to be waterproof. Now, when I fish from the bank, I wear it up here on my hat. Matter of fact, there it is. There's my clamp. There's my mount. Put it right there on my head. Put the camera in it. Fish from the bank. And there you go. But this ain't waterproof. So if you're on that kayak, this being in here doesn't do you any good. Because if you fall over, that's in the water and that's dead. They run cooler without the battery in the GoPro when you use a power bank to power them. Yeah, but Steve, to run the power bank, don't you have to open up this little side door? Don't you got to open up that little side door right there to run the power bank? The only problem I see with that one is you got a power cable running up in here. You've got your waterproof door open. You got your power bank in your shirt pocket. You got this on your chest. You fall into the lake. You just put water all up in your waterproof camera and you took away your waterproofing by having this open. Now, it would be awesome right here on the chest mount. Open this up, put the battery bank in your pocket if you're bank fishing. That looks good. Yeah, they sell a $24 cable to seal it. Yeah, I'm saying you would have to buy something to help seal it. Because couldn't you see it? You're out there fishing. You got your GoPro on your chest. You got your cable plugged in. You got the battery bank in your shirt pocket. You're sitting there, you're fishing, you're doing good, and you flip when you're trying to land it. All that water runs up inside your camera. There just went your camera. You know. And, you know, just saying, there just went your camera. Unless you got it sealed some other kind of way. I mean, now if you're running it without a battery, of course, you could take this door off. You could just plug a cable up in there, one end of it. Use that battery bank exclusively for this. Plug one end in it. And then just put some silicone around it. You can put silicone around that cable. And just have it like that. Take this door off. Silicone up that whole area around the cable. And just have that battery bank just used for charging that camera. And that way you ain't got to worry about it getting wet. But you'd have to do something like that. I never fell in, so I just say the hell with it. Or use thick silicone earplugs and push it in around the cables and the port. Yeah, and hope. Yeah. Then you got to hope, you know, it doesn't get to it. Well, me, man, seriously, I'm on a budget and I had to buy a refurbished GoPro Hero 5 Black just to get one, I really don't want a chance killing it in the water. You know, I'd rather just get extra batteries for it. Think about it. If a GoPro Hero 5 Black can give you an hour, basically, at 1080-60, you get 2 or 3 batteries, that's 2 or 3 hours of fishing. And you just take those batteries, either put them in your pocket, put them in your tackle box, or shove them down like in a little waterproof bag. Pull the little rope on the bag, set it somewhere, and then your batteries are safe, and you can just stop the camera, stop filming, put a new battery in, close it back up, go back to fishing, and you can get 2 or 3 hours fishing session if you got some extra batteries. I understand why you're doing it, because you did most of your fishing on the bank, and unless you fall in the lake, which is rare to fall in the lake while you're fishing, unless you fall in, your camera's here, and say if you got your battery bank put somewhere on you and the cord just running into the side of your camera, it's not getting wet. That's like if you're on the bank fishing and you got a camera mounted up here. It's highly unlikely this camera's getting wet while you're on the bank fishing. You know, you got to fall in face first, basically. I just hate changing batteries. And I found when the battery is running low, the GoPros always malfunction and corrupt all the files. Well, I don't use them anymore. So you never run a GoPro battery when you go out fishing. You just go out with the GoPro here and with a power bank somewhere, a battery bank somewhere on your person, somewhere with a cord running up to it. And hoping you don't get it wet. Now, I'm just going to ask you to be honest. How mad are you going to be if you fall in the water and ruin the GoPro? Just say it. In my circumstance, I can't really afford to go out and turn around and buy another GoPro Hero 5 Black tomorrow, refurbished. So I really don't want to get mine wet. That's why I'd rather just buy some extra batteries. Because that way it's still completely waterproof. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. If you let it run down to the last few minutes, it could corrupt your files. Yep, that can happen. GoPros are finicky. Mad, but had it for years and it did not happen. So I don't think about it much. That's like when I get out there on the water. A lot of times when I put a rod back in the rod holder, I forget to put the rod leash over it. So if that boat flips, that rod's more than likely gone because I forgot to put the rod leash back over it. And I'll be mad, but I'll be mad at myself. I'll be like, really? It would have took you 2 minutes at the most to bring that rod leash up, unclip it, wrap it around the reel, clip it back, and there you go. You're protected. That way when the boat flips, it's just dangling down, trying to come out the boat a little bit. It's not, gone. But that's one of those things. If you're not worried about it, man, hey, more power to you. Because I understand why you do it the way you do it. You can get you one of those big battery banks, like say a 10,000 milliamp hour battery bank, and go out there and film forever. Just be out there could you imagine 10,000 milliamp hour power bank? And you're just out there fishing. You're out there on the lake 7-8 hours. I still got, if I flip in the kayak, I'm not worried about anything but getting out alive. F the camera. Well, I don't think you've got too much worry about flipping in your kayak as long as you've got your stabilizer, It's going to really take a lot to flip you. I mean, plus that's going to help steady you when you're trying to land a fish. That's my biggest fear. Where you are now, you can walk around and feel for it if you lost a rod. Yeah, true. In that cove, I could go buy me some swimming goggles and just walk out there and walk completely under the water and go, oh, there it is. Pick it up, shake it off a little bit, bring it home, take it apart, rinse off the pieces, put it back together, and be good. Yeah, I forgot about that. 6'2" is the deepest part. So realistically, I could probably go, okay, the boat flipped here and it went under right here. Okay, put me some glasses on, dunk my head under. Oh, there it is. Yeah, those work real good. Well worth the $100. Yeah, part of me says buy them instead of making my own. Part of me says just buy the whole set. So that way there ain't no hassle. And I know it's all going to go together, you know, the way it's supposed to. Plus, I know when I'm out there, if I catch a big one, I know I ain't as easy going to flip over. Something falls in the spots I fish at. You ain't going in after it. That's for sure. Your fishing place is nice. Well, thanks, my friend. I like the spot. Like I said, I just want it to produce me some more fish between now and the end of summer. I just want to catch me some more. One pickerel that I've got on video and one brim that I don't have on video is not enough for the year, okay? I'm greedy. I want some more fish. Go on and off super easy also. Yeah, I mainly want the pontoons on the side of the kayak for the stabilization when I hook a fish. That way, if you hook a bass and you do this, that right there ain't going to throw you over because you got that them pontoons. Or if somebody comes by in a boat and makes a good bit of waves, you're just going to rock because you got them pontoons. Whereas if you're not sitting right and they come by you real quick, it can just flip you over without the pontoons. That's my biggest worry, is getting flipped by a big boat or hooking into like a 5-10 pound bass or cat and you're reeling him in and you're setting the hook. And when you set the hook back like this, the boat tips over with you. Because my girlfriend always used to tell me I like ripping lips. She'd be like, man, you be trying to rip the lips off the fish when you hook them. And I just had a habit of that because I catfish so much. And I would do this, and I would come back, and you didn't want to be sitting nowhere near me. When you put sway bars on a car or an RC car, it don't sway anymore. I think I found a set on eBay, but I'm not sure if I got the right ones. I was looking at a set of those stabilizers. I'm not sure if it's the ones you got, though. If you get a chance, pop me the link to where you got yours. Whether it was Amazon, whether it was eBay, pop me a link up. That way I can go over there and save it. If it's eBay, I can just save it to my watch list and it'll keep it there. Got to get the new version. You should give a Zaza Hellgrammet a shot. Might get you some more fish. A Zaza, or a Zaza, whichever. Hell grommet or hell grammet. I'll have to look for that next time. Is that something they just sell at Bass Pro Shop or at just, somewhere like that? Or is that something I can find in an actual Walmart? Reason I'm asking Tom Hobbies is the closest Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's I have is like over an hour away. One of them's like, I want to say an hour and 10 minutes away. The other one's like an hour and 40 minutes away. So I don't have a real close, place. Only 88 shipped. Two-piece inflatable outrigger, kayak, canoe, fishing, boat, sail line, and arm kit. Appreciate you saving that. Say they had the soft plastic ones on Amazon. I'll have to look into that. Thanks, Steve, for putting that up. I went ahead, followed your link there, and put it on my watch list. Yep, I got it added to the list. Now I got it watching. It'll let me know when it's about to expire. If I haven't bought one already, it would let me know when it's about to expire. So I appreciate that. So the Zaza ZAZA Hell Grammet. Give that a look real quick. All right. I see them now. You got Lures by Hand 3-inch Hell Grammet 12 packs. You got the Zaza Hell Grammet Brown Gold Flake by Nico. You got the Gulp ones for $8.37 12 count. Then you got a 3-inch natural. Oh, you got Rebel did a Hell Grommet fishing lure. Pretty cool looking little fishing lure. So Rebel decided to do the Hell Grommet as a fishing lure. It looks just like the soft plastic one, but it's a fishing lure. It's 32 ounce. And then they did a bigger one. And then you got the soft plastic ones. Cool. Thanks for telling me about these. All right. The 4-pack pumpkin. I was just looking at some pumpkins. They're pretty good for bass where you live. Yeah, I was actually looking at the pumpkin ones. Hello, is this a book tube? No. But yeah, when I got through over there, the last thing I looked at is I clicked on a pack that was the pumpkin. I may have to give those a try down the road. I don't think I've ever fished with one of those, with a hell grommet. All right, man, I may have to give them a try down the road. You know, I got all this that I haven't even put in the tackle box yet. So, of course, I got to try some of this firsthand first. But after this, I may have to get me a pack of the hell grommets just to try. And Z-Man baits. I'll have to look those up. See my latest test video, Fishing with Pickerel Hunter on YouTube. All right, guys. I'm going to get ready and end this. Thanks for all the info. Thanks for the links. I've got the Amazon link up there so I can go look at the inflatable boats just to see what they look like so I'll get an idea. I've got the Mariner one still up there to go look at. I've got the Cast King that I was told about earlier to go look at. And then I'm going to go look at some of the lures y'all talked about. On that frog, pull the rear legs to the front of the frog and cut them shorter at the nose of the frog. All right, man. Peace. Y'all have a good one. Have fun in your hobbies. Later, guys. Marshall, we out.